love answering your questions, and one of them was how we manage our older horses. So you can see here that Jack is doing the managing. He's supervising Andy removing the jump poles from the arena, and then he'll wait here, make sure she's put it off the arena properly. Then he'll wait for his kiss, and then he might do a little bit more work. He's been helping give a lesson over there. Good job, thanks Andy. So a lot of what happens when horses get older is they're just tossed out in a paddock, and they're used to being the center of attention. They're used to getting all this special extra love and kisses. And also, from Jack's point of view, he's absolutely used to being number one and having everybody, giving him extra attention. And so for his dignity and for somebody put it that way in the last post we did about managing older horses, and I think it is our honor to protect their dignity. And part of what he does is that he loves being around his family and the people who love him. So just coming down here and doing a little bit of work every day is really good for his soul, but it's also really, really good for his body. So his body has always functioned by coming down and being made into a lovely round ball and then stretching and then going lateral. So we still keep doing a little bit of that. Can we be bothered to walk, Chuck? And we're trialing different snaffles for him because he has a very, right, I'll give him a scratch. He has a very, very wonky jaw, and when we would take him in and out of his double, we found that he would actually struggle to balance all the different bits come on, Jack, in his mouth. So we tended to leave him in his double. So now we're just trying to find the right spot for his snaffle. And I think that the best thing about training your horses is accepting where they have flaws and weaknesses. And his was always his mouth. He had a TMJ joint that doesn't sit quite flush. One side of his bit sits really high, one's low, one's narrow, one's super wide. So we just always accepted that I was never going to be able to get the absolute perfect looking contact. Like he sort of will draw his lips back even in a halter to balance out that his jaw isn't perfect. And he doesn't have the best amount of energy, as you can see, but he's happy to work and he's very generous with his, with his work ethic, which I love about him. The biggest advice I can give you with older horses is give them lots of cuddles, because that's very important. But what we do with Jack is just a big series of, he probably only works, I don't know, in total 5 or 6 minutes, a couple of times a week. The rest of the time he helps with jump crew, he helps me give lessons. But the exercises that I love for my older horses, let's have a look at those. All right, handsome. Come on. All right, I love leg yielding, right? Because he's just picking up his thoracic sling, he's engaging his core, and he's really just gently moving his spine around. And I'm asking him to stay awake while he does it. And I'm constantly just pressing little buttons and then saying, oh my God, you're amazing. Press a little button, oh my goodness, you're amazing. Good boy, good. And that mind work, the same as for us when we get older. They tell us, even if you end up in a nursing home, keep doing the crosswords, keep watching the movies that you like, keep your brain awake, learn a new language. So for Jack, he's learning some Western at the moment, and Greg normally rides him, but we're waiting for a new Western saddle because these dressage saddles hurt his new hips. Right, and then I love a little bit of half pass. Right, again, same thing, the lateral work. I'm not worried too much about the frame. You can do it on a long rein or on whatever he likes. Good, and I'm waking him up all the time. Good boy. And then I feel like that was good, so I have a little break. And then I'll do, for him, he was a Grand Prix horse, or is a Grand Prix horse, whatever you want to say. I'll do some piaffe. And then I'll do a beautiful transition to trot and a beautiful transition back to the piaffe. And then one day I'll do a little bit of working canter, and the next day I'll do some canter pirouettes. So I'm loading different muscles. So if I collect the trot, I'll ride the canter forward. If I collect the canter, then I'll ride the trot a little more forward. Good. And then I love to play with just big walk pirouettes. Wake up, boy. So just thinking about getting the hind leg crossing over so that I can really get that beautiful feeling of centering around that left hind. keeping him awake. Wake up. Good boy. And a little bit more feeling of that crossover. Then as soon as it's good, I increase the flexion and I push him out gently with my inside leg. Good boy. And feed-wise, we don't do anything different with him than when he was in work because he's just a lovely big quiet horse, so we don't need to. But if you're finding that your old horse is fresh and running around silly in the paddock, you can just drop their pellet out a little bit as long as they're getting all the nutrition that they need. He eats as much hay as he can eat. He used to have as much lucerne as he could eat, but of course once he's no longer in work, he doesn't need all that lucerne and he got a little bit chubby. So we did drop his lucerne and just put him on a heap of grass hay. We do have an Equilume lamp in his stable. He doesn't like wearing hoods. They just bother him. He's got a beautiful sensitive face. So we would always, the only time we'd put a hood on him was in showtime. So instead of the Equilume mask, to help him stay young and loose, we've put the Equilume lamp up in his stable, which is how we just sort of control that little bit of, as they get older, they start to get a little bit EMS, Cushing's, that sort of thing. He is on the TuffRock Super Tough for his joints, but that's the only management that he's ever had. The main thing with your older horses is to know them. If he walks down to the arena, he's a bit crotchety when he walks down to the arena, then we know that that's his day to do a really light work. If even an expression in the wash bay, then I just know, he's not right today. I'm not going to, if he has this sort of like a hangdog expression and he's normally a real bright little button, then I know not to do too much. But just take it at their own pace. Even if you just hop on and take them for a walk up the road and then come back. So he'll come back even after a walk day and he'll, have his pee, have his head scratched, eat his carrots. Like he still thinks that he is 100% the king of my world. And in a lot of ways he is. All right, guys, I'd love you to take a look at our website. It is just a completely systematic way of coming about from starting your horses all the way through to competing. So do take a look. It's a great community there. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to click subscribe so that you get notified when we put up new tutorials. And please do take a look at our website. We've built it so that we can coach you through from preparatory, even starting your horses, all the way through the grades, and we look at what the judges are looking for. We look at what exercises you can do to achieve that. We also talk about grooming, groundwork, long reining. So do take a look. We've kept it really affordable. We have a writers' round table where we all sit and talk about our challenges, what we're enjoying, current topics that we're finding a little bit difficult. So I'll see you there.